Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about simple staining. So kind of the main way that we define a simple stain is that it only uses a single stain. So just kind of keep that in mind. The main or the basic reason why that we do staining in the first place is because that a lot of bacteria are transparent. And because of that, we can't really see them under the microscope without having something to make a bit of a contrast. So that's kind of one of the basic reasons why we stain. On top of that, we can also use simple staining to sort of answer a couple different questions. Things like, what is the morphology of my cells? So is it a coccus or is it a bacillus, as an example? What's the arrangement of my cells? Is it a single cell? Is it a diplo? Is it a staph or maybe a strep? We can ask and answer some of those questions using simple staining. And then sometimes we can also use them to look for like special structures, like are there granules in there? Sometimes we can look at for flagella, a whole bunch of different things that we can use our staining techniques for. Now, the basic way that our stains work is that they have what we call a chromophore in them, and the chromophores come in a couple different types. Basically, chromophore is the colored component to the stain, or our fancy term for a dye. So you basically have positive chromophores and negative chromophores. And the way that a positive chromophore works is that cells tend to be negatively charged. So a positive chromophore will bind to the negatively charged cells, and what you should see under the microscope is going to be a bright background with colored cells. On the other hand, with the negative stains, they have a negative charge, and they will be repelled by the cells. So in the negative stain, you tend to stain the background, and you can have a dark background with brightly colored cells, basically. So some common examples of positive stains could be things like crystal violet, saffronin, or like methylene blue, whereas common negative stains tend to be things like Indian ink or nigrosin ink. For this video, we're not really going to worry about the negative stains because they're kind of their own beast in itself, so we'll talk about that in a different video. But we're going to talk about the positive stains and how to do a positive stain in this video. So kind of with that in mind, let's talk about what we need to actually do the stain. So you're going to need an area to do the stain, whether that is in our staining tray or if it's in the staining sink, just depends on what you have available to you. You're going to need the specific stain you want to use. Again, I'm just going to go ahead and use crystal violet. You're going to need something to rinse with. You're going to need something to blot with. So a paper towel works just fine for this. If you have biblios paper, you can use that. Or if you have Kim wipes, you can use those as well. And then you are going to need a smear as well. And you want to make sure that your smear is heat fixed. But that should be kind of all the materials that you need. So let's go through and kind of talk about how this works. It's really straightforward in terms of the procedure. Put your smear, your heat fixed smear, in the staining area, and then you're just going to flood the slide. And when we say flood the slide, we mean cover the whole thing. So you cover the whole slide, and now we wait. And you basically just wait 1 minute for this procedure here. I'm going to go ahead and kind of skip some of that waiting to kind of show you guys what else we're supposed to be doing. But normally, again, you're just going to wait about 60 seconds or so. That's going to give the dye a good time to really soak into the bacterial cells, and we should be able to get, a good view of what it is that we're seeing under the microscope. Once you're ready, and once your 60 seconds are up, you're going to take the slide, and you'll just kind of tilt it at a 45-degree angle, and you'll take a DI water, and you will just kind of gently rinse down the slide. You want to try as much as possible to stay away from the middle where your sample is. And you want to try to just kind of let the water run down over the slide rather than actually washing off the sample in the middle. So we're just kind of going to let the water run down until it looks, fairly clear. Another thing that's good to do, you might have noticed that I went and I cleaned it on the back as well. It's going to help a lot if you clean the back. It takes a lot of that background stain away, and it makes it easier to actually find what you're looking for when you look at it under the microscope. Biggest thing to note here, make sure you pay attention to which side is up and which side is down. It won't work if it's upside down when we do oil immersion. But now all we're going to do is just put it on our paper towel. Let me move this guy out of the way, and then we're just going to blot it down. So we always blot we never wipe our sample. Basic thing here being that if we wipe it, we're likely to wipe the bacteria off. But we're just going to blot it down kind of like that. We can give it a bit of time to air dry, but that is our stain ready to go so that we can look at it under oil immersion. And once you're done looking at it under oil immersion, you'll just put in the biohazard and get on to your next stain. But that should cover what we need to know for the simple stain.